Hey, it's Bobby. We're just getting this thing going. I gotta say, with the masks and everything, some of our guests are, and it's very understandable.
Love that guy.
Real thing. And this is what we're doing. We're rock and rolling. And we're going to get it on. So we have Mark Goodman, original VJ of MTV.
Yeah. We're good.
Very, very cool. So, and what? Rock Dolly here.
There you go.
Tiffany.
All right.
Cool. We right there, Bobby. Oh yeah. Let's get them wiped down and rocked out.
Hope this works.
Oh.
So for this interview, guys, mics are definitely important to be where they need to be.
Yes. Steve, that means your mouth, not your ears.
Here we go.
His nose.
Let me do this.
You've done it long enough
I
where
know.
you can do it.
I'll just do this.
It's fine.
It's going to be the best.
So,
Hello.
And you can hear.
I can hear you fine.
Perfect.
So you know what I mean?
No, it's there.
Oh no, like slide it. No, literally slide it again. Like
It's the computer.
oh, it's the computer. Okay, it's gone, man. It's fine. You saw what I saw.
It's the
Though, like that weird gray. Yeah, there was like a gray thing.
That's the edge of the computer.
Oh, literally the computer.
All right.
Dad was a jeweler.
Awesome.
So here we're live, and I'm going to flip it over to Jay in 1 second. So we have our interview right now with Mark Goodman.
It doesn't have us ticking yet.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, it sure does. Awesome.
Okay. Wait.
Hey metal summoners, the
Wait.
super duper.
Will you wait a second?
Hell no, I don't wait.
Oh my God, Mark! How do you
fucking
do it?
wait!
How do you get these VJs to do this shit?
That's why he doesn't do it anymore.
Hey.
There, Jay, you're on.
Absolutely, no problem. Hey, Metal Summoners, it's super duper good to have you guys back. Thank you so much for your patience. We are back, Rockin' Pod, Nashville. This is the place you want to be. We got Psycho Steve, we got Bobby, we've got Angel. I'm Jay, and we are now being joined by VJ Extraordinaire, MTV Original. We've got Mark Goodman with us.
What's
How
up?
are you, sir?
Awesome.
Awesome.
It's my first convention, podcast convention. I've never been to something like this.
This is our first as well. We're popping our cherries together, brother.
Be gentle, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. You know that we will, for sure.
What's the tip?
Well, first
Hey now.
Well, first and foremost, brother, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to sit with us.
Sure.
And talk a little bit about just going back into the day, when MTV, was starting off, when something like that hadn't been a thing yet. How did you get involved?
I lucked out 100%. I was in radio, and I was in radio in New York at the #1 rock station in New York, and I was bored, basically, and sheer stroke of luck, a guy that I knew from Philadelphia, where I'm from, Philly Radio, called me in New York. He said, hey, this guy we know, he's working for this company, Dick Hungate.
Oh, I know Dick very well.
You do? See?
Not just that dick.
Bad Bobby.
Oh!
Oh,
Sorry.
But, so he just called me and said this friend of ours that we knew was working for this company. I called him up. First meeting, I was a little dodgy. At a Sheraton Hotel in Manhattan. It was like, yeah, come on up. It's room 302. Just meet us at the Sheraton. I knock on the door. Hi,
before Julie
come on
cleaned
in.
up the town too.
It was a little weird. Just come on, just sit on the bed over here and let's talk. I was like, I don't know what's going on here. Weird. But it must have gone. I must have satisfied because I got a call back.
That's awesome, man, for sure. Psycho Steve, it's that time, sir.
All right, so we were talking about it off the air. You said you're from Philly.
Yeah.
My claim to shame is I wrote an ad that's still out in Philly. I hate Steven Singer. I wrote that 27.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
That's you?
I'm not Steven Singer. I am Steve, but I'm the one that came up with the concept,
So,
everything like that.
Forgive me, as a guy, I'm from Philly,
Right.
but my only contact with that is those billboards on I-95.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I'm driving in from New York. My family's in Philly. I'm
Right.
coming in to visit family. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Okay, so 27 years ago, he wanted to do an ad on Howard. And so he came into the studio. I was writing copy for Howard. And he came in, and Howard got in a fight with Allison. at the time, and Steven Singer brought his book with all pictures of the jewelry that he sells. So he said to him, "How much is it for that jewelry, for that tennis bracelet?" And he goes, "Oh, it's about $10,000." And Howard's like, "Are you out of your fucking mind? $10,000?" And he's like, well, Robin chimed in and says, "Oh, you know, Howard, a way to a woman's heart is a jewelry." And I'm like, "No, a way to a woman's heart is a steak. You stick it right here." And then they're like, "I can't do this." I'm like, "I have a concept, an idea. How about this? How about a man gets in a fight with his wife, and to make good, he buys her a piece of jewelry, and then he utters under his breath, 'I hate you, fucking Steven Singer.'" Of course, we didn't say fucking on NBC or K-Rock, because that's where I was. We said, "How about I hate Steven Singer?" And there you have it. 27 years later, I still get my $300 royalty check every.
But it is legendary. It is memorable.
Yeah.
The problem is that I didn't know what the product was.
Yeah. So,
That's the issue. The only issue I would have with it was like, I had to ask you.
exactly.
But it
And
definitely
works,
stuck in my mind.
because everybody asks me, you know. So that's my claim to shame.
All
Now,
right.
the question I have for you, you said you started out in Philly market,
Yeah.
right? Me, I started out on a very small radio station in the Jersey Shore, then got syndicated, and then I went to Sirius, and then I did some touring with a lot of bands and stuff like that.
Are you on Sirius now?
No, I did like voiceovers and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay.
I did fill in on Hair Nation and stuff like that, Liquid Metal.
My boys.
Yeah.
Jose.
Exactly. Jose's good
Fucking
people.
love him.
He was my program director at Hair Nation.
Jose Mangan.
Exactly.
Medal ambassador.
The question I have for you is for the people, because radio is not radio anymore. MTV and VH1 is reality TV. People are going to podcasts and, Sirius. Where do you see in the next 10 years terrestrial radio? Do you think it will still be out?
Terrestrial is in trouble for sure. They got to reinvent.
Right.
It doesn't seem to me quite ready to disappear. I haven't seen any studies in the last 2 years, but I know before that radio was still the number one place that people went to discover new music.
Right.
And that more than YouTube, more than Facebook or any of the social media outlets, radio was the thing. I mean, we have 32 million subscribers, something like that, and they imagine there's a couple of more with each one. But it's still not, it doesn't have the coverage of radio. We're better than regular radio. And we all have to deal with every new distraction that will take your eyes, take your ears, take your senses. It's a battle, man. I don't know. I can't predict the future of terrestrial radio. It's on life support right now.
I know, it's sad.
Yeah.
Because it's a dying breed. You don't really, when I see people I was on the radio, they're like, okay, and now? I'm
Yeah, but this is the future.
Right.
And in fact, it's not the future, it's the present. Really.
Right.
So,
Awesome.
Right on, for sure. Let's kick it over to our mate.
Angel.
What was your biggest challenge going from radio to doing MTV?
learning, in radio, you learn how to relate to the microphone. You talk to the mic, and that mic is a person. TV, you have to learn to relate to a camera, but in radio, you can be talking and rolling your eyeballs and throwing your hands around and looking crazy. You can't pull that shit on television. You look like an idiot, right? So I had to, and if you look at the first few hours of MTV, or the first few months, I mean, none of us knew what we were doing. Everybody to this day thinks that I was constantly high on MTV, and I was never, ever, ever high on that station. Never there high ever, except for New Year's Eve. But I mean, it's just too much concentration, too much stuff to do.
Really cool. All right, so I'm going to throw it out, and I'm going to date myself in age. So you and I met 1985, July 13th, JFK Stadium, Philadelphia.
man.
It's a very hot day, very hot day.
My boys, the Hooters, opened up that day.
Of course, oh my gosh, Eric, those guys, I mean, and you think about it, a priest coming out, all decked in leather, Ozzy early in the morning. But what an amazing event, and it'll never happen again. You guys just celebrated last Saturday 40 years of MTV.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a shame that nothing got documented on that. You were a part of American culture as much as Chevrolet, apple pie, everything else. But
I'll take that.
They didn't do anything. Look, we grew up. The four of us
What,
here.
You mean it? What? MTV didn't do anything? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that nothing.
They don't like to look back. You know, they don't. They made a decision while I was still there to not grow old with their audience. They were not going to. Their target is still the same as when I was there. It's 12 to 24. That's their target audience, and so every programming decision, from cutting back to eliminating video, the rise of reality TV, all now it's the ridiculousness channel. It's all based on what that audience is interested in.
So getting back to Live Aid, what is the highlight of that day for you? I know what mine was when Mick tore off Tina's skirt right on stage, and also watching the Concorde fly over with Phil Collins from.
Did people actually see it in the sky?
Yeah, you got to see it on the screen
that.
when they were
on the screen.
Yeah.
Right, when he was landing. That's right.
And also Queen, which Rami Malek, I give him kudos for what he documented in there, which is really cool. But what was your highlight of that day?
Well, I mean, look, Queen was a highlight, but they were in London, so it's a different situation. We all watched it on the screen, but. For me, I mean, honestly, the highlight happened backstage. I was talking to various artists backstage, Jack Nicholson and Chrissy Hine and people like that. But we were standing near this trailer, and I sort of realized that what was going on in the trailer was Bob Dylan and Keith Richards were fucking around with their guitar and like trying to work out some stuff that they might do later, and that was the highlight of my day. You could see them and hear it sort of muffled.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of that day for me.
It's just, and we got to thank you because you were really part of our history growing up. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
We learned everything. It was a genre that I'm really happy to be part of, the 80s and 90s. I mean. But you guys, what a great way to start a culture. You lost a valid part of your team years ago with Alan. I mean, not
JJ.
Alan, JJ.
Yeah. That was, it's a difficult one, especially right now at celebrating the 40th anniversary.
Yeah.
All of us, we miss him anyway. He was really sort of the godfather in a way.
Yeah.
He and I were close because we were the only radio people.
Yeah.
So he had been in radio about 10 years. I was in radio about 6, and I miss him like crazy. But I'll say it, and JJ would not be pissed at me for saying this because I said it to him. He lived the life the way that he wanted. He had a bypass surgery, and he and I went out to the movies about a week before he passed away, and we come out of the movies, and he lights up a fucking cigarette, and I was just like, dude, come on. And all of us were on him about it, but he lived the way he wanted to live, and I love him for that.
Well, we love that he was our good friend Matt Porter, who you were just with. All of us are the biggest Kiss fans. We were there the day when Kiss took the makeup off and seeing him do it. And I get goosebumps to that. I'm like, but they were the things that we seen. I can remember parts of MTV watching it as much as the JFK assassination.
Yeah.
Waiting for certain videos, the Thriller video to come on and sit.
Yeah, I was going to say Michael Jackson, Bobby. The Thriller video, there was a countdown for it. A new movie coming out, which is basically what it was. But the fact that it was like a countdown throughout the week, whatever it was, 8 o'clock Friday night, be there.
That was definitely the biggest world premiere we did.
Mark, and I'll throw it back to Jay in a second. But did you guys realize that you were part of something bigger than yourselves?
It took a while. I think by that time, Thriller, it was really starting to be clear. 84 for us was, I think, not only probably the best year in the decade for music, but it was really the year that I think MTV was at its peak for that decade. And it's hard. I mean, no, it's hard to be in the middle of it and understand exactly what was happening, because it happened. You know, we were in the middle of it as it grew, and although there's more people watching or there's bigger stars or whatever, it's hard to assess the impact at that moment. You know, I didn't really stop and think about it. None of us did. We were just doing it, just doing what we did.
Well, we, again, not just we, but a lot of people here who want to talk to, can't thank you enough for just, it's great. I got goosebumps.
I'm lucky.
You know,
We're all lucky we were here.
Absolutely. And Mark, before we let you go,
Yeah.
Steve, why don't you pick it up right after Mark's answer? You have a book coming out, or that came out, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, please talk a little bit about that, and then Steve, it's all you.
The book is called VJ, The Unplugged Adventures of MTV's First Wave. It's a really fucking long title, man. I didn't want it that long. I just wanted it to be VJ. Great book. It is literally an oral history. It's we were interviewed by this great writer, Rolling Stone writer, Gavin Edwards, and we each sort of he talked to us for hours and hours and recorded and transcribed, and it's a great glimpse, a personal glimpse at all of us. You know, all of us, you know, came to the book with a mission. We wanted to not only tell about the old days, but talk about, you know, what it meant to us. It's fun. It's fun. So go get it.
Yes.
Absolutely. So last but not least, I have to ask, out of all the people you have met and interviewed, has there been one person that you haven't and you still want to do it?
Ooh.
Like a bucket list
Tough
person.
one. Bucket list.
Yeah.
Musician-wise, you got to give me a few seconds to think. I've talked to most of my heroes.
Because
you know,
you've
I've talked to-
interviewed almost everybody.
the people that I deeply love and that really affect my life, I've talked to. I've interviewed Eric. I never talked to Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
I never talked to him. I've interviewed Eric Clapton, Eddie Van Halen, Dave, Rob Halford. I mean, Rob. I love Rob, and that's a tough one.
That's awesome. All right, Angel.
I mean, I know you're pressed for time, but just want to say thank you because, like I said, you're part of my childhood memories.
Appreciate it.
The first person that I saw watching music videos in '83 with Michael Jackson, Def Leppard. Such an honor just to have you on.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much, Mark. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great time, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Good luck with this, man.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Good luck.
Metal Summoners, we love you. We'll be back on in a little bit. You've been watching the Metal Summit.
Yeah.
So when's the book going to be launched?